Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, become patrons over on Patreon to get our RWBY reactions a week early. If you guys are watching this, it is probably Saturday, November the 2nd, okay? We always do our analysis the same day the episode goes out, but our reactions are always a week later. So if you guys want to see our reactions, remember, it is the $5 tier on Patreon. If you guys want to join our RWBY discussion, which will be tomorrow, which is the sort of VIP like exclusive thing that we do, that is the $20 tier, and that is all that we have to say for now. So yeah, if you guys want to go see our reaction, but this is our analysis for episode 1. This was like hype shit, man. But a couple people think I'm like either really scary or that I have like an in at Rooster Teeth or something. I don't, because we predicted a couple things. Oh, Hunter, we weren't supposed to say. No, we do not. We do not, okay? We do not. But yeah, so to get back, right, we've predicted some things correct, which we are going to celebrate. Some things have not gone as expected, but we are going to theorize a little bit. But we are going to do theories throughout the week, so we are going to sort of save those. But first, we get the moon. A nice old shot of the moon, all right? Like, that's pretty. Good old moon. You know what I'm saying? We got some aircraft, okay?
I love the music in this scene. It's like chanting.
Yes, it's perfect. It has that military,
It gives me big, like, Star Wars Imperial March energy, like, dun, 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 dun,
and
like,
so
ominous
they're here. So I want to say something, by the way. Some people may feel like this is a weak start. This wasn't supposed to be the start. This was supposed to be the finish to Volume 6. This is like the lost Volume 6 episode. And so if people feel like it doesn't have necessarily, like, the start of a first season, they should keep that in mind, that this episode was supposed to go on the tail end of season 6, right? And so I feel like that shouldn't necessarily be indicative of season 7. Does that make sense? Or of like, oh, RWBY started off bad. Like, no. Imagine that cliffhanger, seeing Penny for an entire year. Imagine that, and getting kidnapped for an entire year and not knowing what happened to them. That would have been crazy. That would have been a crazy fucking finale. But
although
it is
I do think this episode is a better opener than it would have been a closer.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like there's a lot of tension in it being a closer, though. But I don't know. Like, I feel like the way they closed Volume 6 was fine, but I feel like this would be a very spicy closer, I should say.
Like their closer where you just see everything, all of the, I guess, Atlas military ships.
Yeah,
I guess that was pretty heavy.
But I feel like that would be really fucked. And so Jean's just like, but we're here. Like, everything should be okay. You know, we did it. Good job. Like, but Weiss is just like, I live here, bitch. Okay, I know. Things are not right here, sis. Like, things are not good,
This is like a military dictatorship.
But, like, look how they look at her. And I want you guys to focus on Blake for a second, because I think facial expressions are so on point this episode, right? Like, they say, there's no way the security team will let us anywhere near Ironwood. They may even take me back to my father. So look at Blake, like, listening to Weiss. And then look at the look that, like, she changes in expression a little bit when she says that, right? I mean, obviously Weiss changes in expression too, but that's obvious. So they look at each other, and now we're like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do? And she's like, call Winter, which is a good idea. In theory, look at the ship, man. Look at it scratched on the bottom.
I feel like we're forgetting this because it's been like a year for us, but like, you know, 3 hours ago, for them, they just fought a giant robot and all nearly died.
And they're all exhausted
and RWBY shot lasers out of her eyes, and they just Blake just murdered her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, so everything's been pretty heavy. You know what I'm saying? But it's nice to see, I guess, the bottom of the city and then the bottom of the city. Does that make sense? Like Atlas, the bottom of Atlas and then this down here, because you sort of wonder, the combat school must be up there. But the vault must be at the very bottom and what's connecting the city together, because the vault was in the bottom of Haven, right? And so if it's at the bottom of Beacon and it's at the bottom of Haven, I'm guessing that this is what this whole part is.
That's a good point.
And what if in the OP we thought that it was the Vital Festival arena that Ironwood was looking at, but what if he was actually looking at a separate diagram of this bottom part? Like, what if in the worst case scenario, the bottom part comes off and flies away with the relic.
They look pretty different.
You know what I'm saying?
One thing, though, is that when Ozpin would have built that relic...
Also, we're going to release an OP analysis, hopefully, so you guys should look out for
When
that.
Ozpin built that relic, it was like hundreds of years ago, maybe before Atlas was a thing.
That would have made sense.
So it would make sense that it would be in Mantle.
But Ironwood would have moved it. He wouldn't have kept it down there. He wouldn't have kept it down there, I should say.
But then, I mean, that would have been pretty stressful to
But yeah, he did do it 100 years. But Atlas basically started after the Great War. And that's when the school started. So it may have always been up on Atlas. Like, we just don't know. We just don't know. But I like that idea. It is possible. Very Genlock here. Thank you, Genlock Engine, for actually doing something good. I mean, we are getting another season of Genlock, so I guess I shouldn't say that this is the only thing it's
blue and orange is very common in film. Like all the Transformers, like for a color palette.
Like for city color palette, you mean, right?
Well, just because it looks nice for humans.
I mean, it does look nice. It looks very nice.
Because orange can often look like human flesh. Which is a...
But that doesn't make sense. It's like that. The orange is the light, and the blue is like the streets and the dark and like.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different when it's used for people.
Oh.
This is used this is used for surroundings.
I have no idea what Hunter's talking about.
It's a color palette for a film, and this is the kind of color palette for the city.
But this makes sense to be the color palette for the city. I think it's interesting because cannot express our appreciation enough, right? So that's something different. Like, that's a different broadcast because then Ironwood is talking on the screen, and we actually get from the subtitle some people and what they're saying, and I feel like that's important that we didn't notice in our first reaction. So this is Ironwood's speech that we hear at the beginning, right? And so he's on every TV, little creepy. Like, I think that we should debate whether Ironwood is bad or not in a separate video, right? Like, that's something Hunter and I would like to do this week to sort of like guess just based off of this first episode.
It's nice to know that
he's promising to protect people. It doesn't seem that bad. But
and Donald Trump said he was going to make America great again.
I know,
sometimes
but it's
people
like
lie.
Ironwood seems sincere. That's what I'm saying to me. Whereas other politicians throughout different periods of time that have promised things to their people do not. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't trust this man.
They say he looks tired. He's not sketchy. He's tired. And then Ironwood's like,
people
James,
make irrational decisions when they're sleeping.
And so here's the other thing too. Like, you really can't tell the difference between like Crow's new voice actor and all that stuff. Like, Crow basically sounds the same. Yeah. Like, there were some moments where I feel like he was going into it real hard, like with some of his lines, but that's okay.
I totally forgot that he changed.
Okay, so here's the civilian. Not these again. Why can't they just leave us alone? So it seems like Mantle just wants to be left alone without intervention at Atlas, and it seems like a lot of people have lost their jobs because of the embargo, and they're all angry, right? And look at these kids. I love these kids throwing the rock at the robot and then hiding behind it. Like, we stand.
They were better at it than Yang was.
I guess so. I mean, Yang just punched.
You also get the sense that like they're under a military dictatorship, like a police state.
Yeah,
like everything they're doing is being watched. It's very 1984 with a giant photo of a man. And like eyeballs. Then they're just like,
Winter can help us, and Weiss is just like, no. And
I don't trust her.
I do trust Winter, okay? And Winter looks great. Like, Winter has a great new design. She has sort of, I don't want to say it's like curly, but it's like sort of, I don't know, like the sections of her hair have been
more defined,
if that makes sense, and it almost makes them look like sort of curly.
Her costume looks more ornate. Like, I feel like she's been doing less fighting and more like being
military
a leader.
Stuff. Well, yeah, she's Ironwood's right-hand woman. Yeah. So I think that this is a good look for her. Is under lockdown. So the city is just under lockdown, right? And I feel like that makes sense considering everything that has gone on. You know what I mean? For the city to be under lockdown. It's been a year though, so at the same time, it's like, what are you guys preparing for?
It's like the curtailing
Here's the thing, Hunter.
Human rights.
Like,
this is very Patriot Act.
Is it a dictatorship? How am I supposed to explain this? Salem is coming in with an army of flying monkeys, and obviously they don't know that, and they don't know that, but we know that. So aren't Ironwood's actions justified if he knows that Salem is gonna come here with her army, and that's why all of his fleets are in the sky?
I suppose.
Do you understand what I mean? Like, he's doing it to protect people, but he can't tell the whole world, oh, hey, there's this immortal witch, and she's gonna try to kill us. Sorry about that, sis. You know what I mean? I think Ironwood's doing his best, and sometimes people should stay inside, and maybe the city should be under lockdown when a bunch of Grimm are gonna come and massacre all of your people. You know? It's a very unique situation, Hunter. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's a discussion of whether or not you should be concerned about, like, loss of freedom for safety or freedom over potential safety. Because, I mean, like, here's the thing. The robots aren't doing shit. They were still destroyed by those saber-tooths.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the...
Well, that's why Huntsman...
Also, like, if you're killing journalists...
That probably was Jacques, okay? But we'll get to that in a minute.
Killing journalists does not stave you from
I definitely think that was somebody else.
Also,
on the
killing
council,
journalists is like a very like Putin-y thing to do, which is not a great look for Ironwood. He's very
but what if Ironwood didn't do it? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what if it was somebody else? And we'll get to that. And we talked about that. If you guys look at the OP, right, which I didn't take screenshots of because we already did an analysis, Ironwood's on the screen, but then it flashes to Jacques, right? And so the question is there, I think Jacques killed the journalist. I think Jacques is manipulating a bunch of people. I think that Jacques wants to be king of Atlas.
Yeah, probably.
And that he is somehow manipulating Ironwood in his paranoid state to do what he wants.
And I feel like Winter's gonna help her.
Ironwood went against the dust embargo.
Yeah.
Jacques was against the dust embargo, but Ironwood kept it, so it's sort of.
But I feel like Ironwood has changed a lot since when we've seen him in Volume 4.
Yeah, but the embargo's still on, right? They talk about that, so it's
true.
like Ironwood may still have a stand against Jacques. I don't know. I feel like Winter, at the end of the day, has more allegiance to Ironwood than she does to Jacques. That's just how it reads to me. Maybe things have changed. Maybe she was always groomed to worm her way into the military. Maybe.
I feel like that would like sweet Winter betrayal.
That would be terrible, though.
I don't know.
I feel like that would ruin her as a character.
I don't think it would ruin her. I think that would be like, well, the person you just, as you grow older and you learn more about the world, the people in your life, especially your family, whom you thought were like
Weiss already has enough bad family. Her sister was like the only good thing that she has, and to take that away from her too, is that really necessary?
You take Winter away, but you can also add.
No, we do not want to add Whitley.
I feel like
her and Whitley don't have a relationship, though. It would be terrible.
But they could build a relationship.
No, we don't have time for that, sis. Weiss is going to Vacuo. We need someone who she already has a relationship
There could be something there.
I think it's a terrible idea and that they shouldn't do it. I don't think that
because
Winter
rewatching Volume 3, Winter isn't as nice.
Yeah, but it's an Elsa Anna type situation.
Also, when you think of that Volume 5 trailer.
Where Winter said, I won't always be there to protect you. That's because she knows how terrible Jacques is. Because she won't always be there to protect her from Jacques. Because she left for the military. So it's like, I think that she is clearly against.
I don't know.
She's clearly anti-Jacques. I don't know. I don't want to hear about your possibility anymore, Hunter. You're making me upsetty. I don't want Winter to be bad. I want her to be aligned with Ironwood regardless, right? But I don't want her to be like, I was with Jacques the entire time, Weiss.
Well, maybe she doesn't have to be with Jacques, but maybe she can be a different kind of bad. Like, she still wants like a military dictatorship.
Being bad, then Winter will follow Ironwood, which is fine. I just don't want Winter to align with Jacques.
Okay,
anyway,
what I'm saying is she goes bad, not Jacques.
But I don't think Ironwood is bad. I think there are different shades of this situation, and you're taking things to like, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, but what if like Ironwood realizes what he did was wrong, but Winter's like, nah. I still believed in what we were doing.
It landed over there. Let's go. So you already know that these soldiers are like following them. And they all just came out of this alley where the airship was. Yeah. Like, sis. But yeah, there's a bunch of people. Embargo, the right call? Question mark.
Outer walls damaged.
That seems like a picture of Ironwood, possibly. Outer walls damaged.
Community events.
We don't know what that is. Like, we can't read that.
Lovely. Election imminent.
Mantle Hometown Hero versus Elysian Tycoon. You know who the Elysian Tycoon is? Jacques!
Probably. Okay. Journalist found slain. That's Putin.
Robton Hill.
Robin? That looks like RWBY.
Okay,
Robin
I thought
Hill.
that was a T-Y. Okay, missing journalist found slain. What did she report? Like, that's what I want to know. I want to know if Jacques, like, murdered someone because they were reporting on the poor conditions in the Atlas mines. Because I don't want Ironwood to kill a journalist. Help wanted, and we can't see that. So that's okay. I think it's interesting how the news is all up here, though. Obviously, they have some freedom of the press because they're reporting on the journalist being dead. If it was really a dictatorship, wouldn't Ironwood just, like, stop that from getting out? This is playing on an official Atlas TV screen.
But it's not. Maybe it's moving towards a dictatorship.
But you know what I mean? This is playing on an official screen, right? Like, all these screens seem like official screens that are playing like a determined, like, Ironwood's message was playing, Winter's message was playing. So if Ironwood did it, why would he put it there? Unless it wasn't him. That's a thesis. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that bad yet.
They're not saying that Ironwood did it. She said, oh, she was, like, killed by something totally unrelated. We don't know why.
Slang, though. Like, that's... Anyway. we can debate about this later. There's some guy just playing the guitar, a banjo. He's playing a banjo, guys. Show your teeth.
I like that.
What does that even mean?
Like maybe like a faunus thing?
Maybe.
Like be proud about being faunus. I like
so,
how there's like fuck the man
Yang
faunus art.
Punches the robot? Like, did you really have to do that? Like, it was just looking at you. And I love how they all look at her.
Is she like a criminal? Is it because she shot the Mercury in the leg?
I don't know. I think it just, maybe.
I don't, it's interesting.
I think it took a photo of her though, right?
Yeah, it did.
And so it's surveillance. It's like probably has a photo of everyone in the city, but it doesn't have one of Yang, so it took a picture. You know what I'm saying? And so Maria's just explaining the people of Mantle needed a sign of a brighter future, and that sign was Atlas. After all, a home in the clouds is about as bright as it gets, and then you see sort of the clouds, and then you also see winter. But I think it's interesting that Nora and Blake say something here. So these are probably faunus from the Schnee Dust Company mines, and like they look pretty. That looks
fucked. Oil. Like oil? The black.
That could be soot, maybe. Right? And so
it looks like
Weiss is Nora's like, unless you're the one having to look up at it, which I think is a really good line.
And then we have drunken Gordon Freeman over here.
Is that who played him?
No, Gordon Freeman's the character from Half-Life.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a Rooster Teeth voice actor. I'm getting like people like Gordon and then Gavin just intersected like that. Does that make sense? You don't like it here? There's plenty of space out in the tundra. Like this man. Everyone's drunk though, and like obviously this guy's a racist. That's not nice, but he also doesn't have a job because of the embargo, and he's probably like, they're all probably fucked down here, and they're probably, I don't know. They're probably all infighting with each other is basically what I mean. So like the people of Mantle are infighting like with the faunus.
So people who maybe lost their jobs voting for a tyrant that promised to make
they didn't vote for the tyrant. Ironwood just was there.
Voting for Jacques, who would probably end that. I'm saying I'm getting like interesting Appalachian voters.
Well, this is supposed to be
vibes.
America, but this is like old America though. I think that it's Great Depression type situation right here because like, they're all drinking, I think, because, like, they say this, right? Like, the embargo, they got us in a rough patch, so they've lost their positions because of the embargo. So the question, I guess, is, like, the faunus can still mine dust because the dust can still be sold to people in Atlas, like, sold to the military, and the military buys the dust. But what if they had jobs, like, what if they, like, shipped it somewhere? You know what I mean?
They would be,
They lost all their jobs because there's nowhere to ship it to.
If only there was like an American president that put embargoes on things.
Are you talking about Trump again?
Yes, I am.
Why do you not know any other American presidents that we can compare this to?
Well, that also happened in the Great Depression.
Yeah, and so go back to the Great Depression, Hunter. Like, I think that's what they're referring to. I mean, history repeats itself when it's not learned from, and I get that. I'm just saying that it's like the houses and all this stuff. Like, I think they're trying to point to a different time period. Even if it's still relevant. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like that they're trying to go back.
I feel like
go back a little further, Hunter.
Relevance shows up in many different places.
Anyway, yeah, so the embargo's got them in a rough patch, and I'm pretty sure that's why they're all drinking. Like, they're all terrible.
Surly alcoholics.
And so it's like, I feel bad for them. Like, obviously what they're saying isn't good or nice, but at the same time, it's like they're just on the streets, and they're drunk.
But he's not blaming the people in power, he's being shitty to faunus.
Well, no, he's being shitty to the other kingdoms.
I guess that's
true. I mean, if I was another kingdom, and I saw what happened at the Vital Festival, yeah, I would be like, Alice! But at the same time, it's not...
Well, that's what Salem said. She wanted to divide people.
It's of the kingdoms, too. And so I don't blame them from their perspective. They were innocent, and the other kingdoms betrayed them. You know?
As far as they know.
As far as they know, like the people of Atlas. So I get their perspective. That's basically what I'm trying to say, is that we should, even though he's an asshole and deserved to be thrown in the trash, we should have a little sympathy for these people because they're living like in poverty. The military is like there and they don't want the military to be there. Like they're like, really? Why can't the military just leave us alone? And so it's just like...
Did he say military leave us alone?
The citizens did earlier.
Okay, like, I guess those guys did.
Remember, they were just like the robots again. Like it was just random civilian number one.
Yeah.
And so then that's when he gets thrown in the trash because that's unacceptable.
I really thought it was gonna be Yang, but it was Weiss.
I'm glad it was Weiss, and we had sort of a theory that it would be either either Weiss and Yang that threw the guy in the trash. But I like that it's Weiss because that makes a lot more sense. But I feel like it's also important that this is the moment he gets put in the trash. When he starts going after the Faunus, because all the other stuff, like, he has,
at least understandable.
In a sense, understandable and legitimate grievance about the embargo and, like, the other kingdoms from his perspective. The Faunus stuff is unacceptable, so he goes in the trash, and I really like that. And Weiss is just like, it was worth it. Look at her face. Look at that expression. That is it was worth it
They
expression.
really aren't good at going undercover. Like, listen, I spend a lot of time in Oshawa. I'm used to drunken people, like, spouting political opinions at me. You stick your head down and you continue to walk.
We are here for your safety. Thank you for your cooperation. This looks like some sort of, like, doctor, so at least... Hopefully, Atlas still has some free healthcare. I mean, no, I don't think so. Is it? Because they go in through this door right here.
That's the front door. That looks like it's a back door. But that's also a Faunus who has to walk through the back door. Like in a segregated society.
Maybe that makes sense. Maybe this whole building is his.
So she has to walk out the back.
Little plus sign.
That's very...
Sparkles. I mean, maybe. I mean, this also sort of looks like the front. His desk is right there. So it's like that could be somebody else's.
I'm thinking it's like they're referencing segregation.
Maybe.
Or they're using that imagery.
Why did we all go through the side door?
Because we want to be subtle and we have a Faunus with us?
I guess so. Maybe. I don't know. It just like... I think you're looking too much into things sometimes, Hunter. Like, this just looks like the only door that's in here when you look at this room. Like, I feel like maybe the front part is something
I don't know.
else.
I'm just, well, he's a doctor.
He's not a doctor, though.
Well, you can, like, you see where I'm coming at, right?
He puts prosthetics and does technology. That looks like a medical doctor that could, like, heal you and your injuries. You know what I mean? I love him. I love this man. I think that this man is great. I think that his little glasses are great. I think he has a nice little bow. He is a lot darker than the last time we saw him, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just surprised because even in the image that we got of like they changed his skin color a little, I think, because if you look at like the computer symbol, hold on, did I not take a screenshot of it?
No, I guess you didn't.
Did I not make it? Yeah, see this. Oh dear.
If anything, yeah, he looks darker.
He looks a lot darker in this screenshot than he was in the original. Like, look at this. This looks like two different profile pictures, doesn't it?
Yeah, he looks a lot darker.
They must have adjusted it because this is the one that they gave to the website that we were using. But look at it when he has the hat now, right? Like the whole profile picture has changed.
Looks like he basically he looks black in that photo.
Yeah, and I think he is supposed to be black. Which is sort of interesting because if I was making a daughter, like I would make her look like me, but he was just like, no, I want a ginger child.
That could,
you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that was interesting.
He also wanted it to be a hero to the people, so they wanted it to look analogous to the people, like an image.
You know,
potentially making her look like a white lady could have made that. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's an idea.
That's what I'm saying, Hunter. I'm just like, what is Hunter even talking about?
Okay, coming from Raven was a skinwalker. We all make jumps.
I know, but I'm saying that this is like. I don't think that was the reason why they did it.
I know, it's just, well, I'm trying to think of reasons, all right? You ask questions, I give answers. Moving forward.
More like, it could have been somebody that looked like his wife, and his wife passed away, and they could never have kids.
That could be worse.
I was more thinking of that than, this
well, then you should have said it, shouldn't you? I don't care.
Look white for the people. There's no racism in Remnant.
I guess that is true.
Skin color racism, so I don't know if they would think about that. At the same time, it's sort of like, people are different skin colors because of the temperature in the sun in different areas, and so it's like, Penny having red hair, maybe, but I don't know, I just think that that's interesting about him, and that may lead to my wife, he sort of modeled Penny after what he imagines that their child would look like if they ever got to have a child, but they didn't, and now he's old, anyway. But that's okay. And so I love how he doesn't, I feel like, I thought he was pretending, but he just legit does not remember Maria. I called this, by the way. Hello? I called him having a Doc Ock situation. Do you remember that?
Doc Ock doesn't have a chair like that, but a wheelchair.
Not the chair, the legs.
Oh, right,
the arms. That was my whole thing, was I want him to walk around with extra arms. He doesn't, I don't think Doc Ock has the chair, but the extra arms, I got that, sis. Why is this colored like Cammy? It's like they skinned Cammy's robot suit and put it on.
Oh yeah, it does
From
have. Yeah, it has like a Genlock.
Isn't that funny? Anyway,
Yeah.
it looks like an unused Genlock asset, but it also has shoes.
Yeah, it has Jordans.
Or
Which is
something.
interesting.
Like, I think that that's funny. But you see over here, I can't see that because it's a little too far away. I think those are just bottles.
But the whale you mentioned.
The whale, because he's Geppetto.
Geppetto. Yeah.
Right? And his name is, like, Pedro or something. Petro.
Petra. Yeah.
He'll say it again. Anyway.
Kind
so
of like
impatient.
petrol. I don't know.
Petrol, like gas?
Yeah, because he's robotics. I don't know. Shoot for the moon.
Pietro.
Fight me. Anyways, Pietro. There we go. Never mind.
Pietro. Anyway, we're gonna have to take some more, like, listening to this episode to get his name. I'm just like, Hunter's making the most random-ass calls. Like, we can look it up and see what color he's supposed to be based off of, right? Hello? I'm asking you, right? We can look it up and see.
We could, yeah.
Okay. So, we got, what is the name? It means Italian, and it's rock.
Okay.
So, it's just rock.
He's rock.
Okay, that's fine. So, it's an Italian name, so that's sort of interesting. I mean, there are, like, black people in Italy, so I'm just like, that would be kind of nice. I'm glad that they didn't just make him look exactly like Geppetto, right? Like we talked about, like Disney's Geppetto, but they made him have a very, like, bubbly personality like Geppetto. Like, I feel like they did a really good job of, like, changing the character, but also translating that he is supposed to be Geppetto. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I love him. And so this pharmacy is where he volunteers when he's not building the future of Atlas. So I feel like he's the back of a pharmacy. And that pharmacy at the front is like where the actual, not the actual doctors, but like the doctors, the healing doctors. Like that front part is for the doctor part, and that he's
Why
just
are you
the
so
prosthetic
against
part.
the idea of Thomas using the back door?
I'm not! I'm just saying he's this pharmacy is where he volunteers, which means he doesn't own the pharmacy, which means there are other people in the pharmacy.
But there's also no waiting room where he's at.
Yeah, because he does the...
Maybe that front part's the waiting room.
He does the prosthetics. If it's a pharmacy, there are drugs here, right?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's a society that's racist to the faunus, so it needs to be analogous
but I'm saying the pharmacy is where he volunteers,
Yeah.
and so there are other people here, and they're doing other stuff with like drugs and medication, and like giving the flu shot, and like whatever else.
I'm just saying, I find it interesting.
Stay vaccinated. But yeah, so I'm just saying that I think this is supposed to be his little corner, but he's a part of like that front part is supposed to be the doctor situation. Anyway, he's building the future of Atlas alongside Ironwood in the clouds. And so I like how he says it's stuffy up there, that down here he has fun. And we sort of had that theory with Geppetto last time, that like, we talked about this in a video, that like, Atlas technology could sort of, I guess, like, perverse his, like, love of, just making things or whatever, like that, he has sort of this gift, but it's used for the military and all that stuff. Like, we talked about that in a separate video, and sort of how that could be different to Watts and all that. But I like that he's like, I get to have fun. I want to work on fun things, because that is very Geppetto, just doing what he wants to, like, for the love of it, and that's what I hope that he would be like, so I'm glad. I like how Nora's, like, really excited about the shoes. Nora's very excited for this. And so, yeah, they want to talk to Ironwood. That's fine. They want to know what's happening, and, the fall of Beacon. And so did James see something else other than we saw what James saw?
Well,
or did he just see everything come down? You know what I mean? Like, did he see something else that we don't know about is what I'm asking.
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, even what he did see was pretty terrible.
I know, but I'm saying, like, what if there's something else that we don't know about? I love this. Jason's last nonsense 0. And he has a gumball machine, which is great. Like, I think that's great. I don't know what that thing is supposed to be. He's scared.
The eye furnace.
See? And I feel like paranoid, scared, not evil, paranoid, scared. Like,
But
like,
paranoia and fear can get people to do bad things.
I'm just saying that it's not like Ironwood's a dictator.
I'm with you.
But I'm just saying this guy works alongside Ironwood. I'm pretty sure he would realize if Ironwood was like I don't know,
I'm with you.
Enslaving people or murdering them or something.
I need to make sure that I'm like we're on the same page. I agree with you that he's not pure evil. What I'm saying is he's still looking pretty dictatory.
Yeah, but I don't think this guy knows Ironwood directly. You think he may mention that.
And he looks pretty concerned about him as well.
Yeah, but he's scared. That's all I'm I'm trying to say is I think that, I don't know, I think it's cheap to just make Ironwood very similar to Lionheart in the sense that, oh, well, now they're both. Also, they didn't fix that profile picture, I guess, because oh, wait, no, they did? Does he have the hat? Yeah, okay, so that one's the fixed one. The other one was not fixed. What was I trying to say? Like, we already had a headmaster who betrayed us and was bad, and, like, I feel like,
but he's more
we're
nuanced.
Gonna do that
I agree with you.
Again, but different this time.
But
you know
I agree with you that he's nuanced.
I know that it's different, but at the same time, it's not so different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can
it's just
see that.
like, I don't know. We already had Leo, and Leo was already like conniving with Salem and doing bad things and killed a bunch of huntsmen, which was very not nice of him. And I know with Ironwood it's different because he controls the military and the school, but at the same time I'm just like... Also, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if Winter used to be in the Aces and then she got upgraded to Ironwood's rank.
Because Aces are not...
And
well,
we'll
she was
talk
the
about that
Atlas specialist.
Bones!
Yes.
I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess it's just people's...
General medical stuff?
Yeah, like legs and... I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what part of the body this is supposed to be.
That looks like the sternum.
And then you
like
see the little whale statue. I don't know what the other stuff's supposed to be. He just has a lot of files. Whoever managed to do that is either genius or one of our own. And I fear the answer may be both. And I wonder if he knows Watts.
Yeah.
Because Watts is a disgraced Atlesian scientist, which means it's both. And we get confirmation that Watts is a genius. So why did y'all make Watts mad? Why is he against you? Like, we need answers. And we see in the OP that he's keeping an eye on the Aces and a bunch of this stuff as well. And so does the General. And so... that's the other thing, right? Like, Ironwood thinks that someone's betraying him, like, from the inside. He probably has figured it out that Watts, who has beef with him, and I'm sure lots of people have beef with Ironwood, but, you know, Watts, more than usual,
everybody's got
has beef with him, and it's sort of like, Watts did it. Like, Ironwood in his head must know that Watts did it. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, like, maybe he's concerned about a breach that's more internal, like, inside the people that still work for him, but at the same time, like, oh, like, you know, this person was disgraced, they have a bone to pick, they were a genius, I wonder who it could be. Like, it would make a lot of sense if he could just put two and two together, you know? But anyway, maybe Atlas isn't safe. Whoops, and then Weiss decides to ask about Winter. The council's so scared, they'll agree to whatever he wants, which I think is interesting because why would all the rich people be afraid? I guess, like, Jacques seems like he tries to have power over Ironwood in the scenes that they're in, like, in Volume 4, so I sort of wonder about that. Like, I wonder, could the other council members be scared because Jacques has pulled rank? More so than Ironwood is pulling rank, because we do see in the OP how it goes to Ironwood and flashes to Jacques. Like, I am very for Ironwood just being sort of paranoid and scared, Jacques using that and manipulating him, but I guess that's sort of like what Watts did to Leo, which is why I don't like that, which is like conflicting, but I think that Jacques could make things more interesting because he is not part of the bad
layers
guys.
To it. Yeah,
like, he's not part of the bad guys, so it's a little different, and at the same time, like, obviously Team RWBY starts working with the special aces, so maybe Jacques or Ironwood isn't as, like, gone as we think he is. You're Weiss-Schnee! And then they all realize, like, who they are, and he's like, you painted it! Which, hello, that is win number 2 for us, guys, okay? First of all, we got the faunus discrimination punching correct, even if Weiss didn't. I'm gonna count that as a point. Penny's father, that's number 2. The fact that he made Yang's arm, that's number 3, okay? That's pretty much it. Like, I don't think there's anything else in this
It's interesting that
scene.
it's like the first time that we realize Team RWBY is a bit of a celebrity.
Yeah,
that maybe it reached
and I talked
Atlas
about that, like,
not,
it being such a problem, but at the same
minstrel.
time, he knows that they're Penny's friends. So he's not like, oh, I saw you fight in the Vinyl Festival. Yeah. Like, he knows because Penny talked about them to him, right? And so it's like, like, I'll give Ruby a point for trying to do the thing that they should have done before.
Although I will buy it that, like, all the other events of that event probably overshadowed.
I know. And so, yeah. My daughters told me so much about you. And so I wonder if this is like...
Yeah, an arm. It almost looks like a schematic for maybe Ironwood's arms or Yang's arms.
and it's like your daughter, and then alarms. And so I would analyze the fight scene a little bit. I like how he says wait, because it's like, hey, wait, you can't actually do anything. It's illegal. Oopsie daisy, like, you know what I'm saying? I guess the city defenses aren't doing too much. Well, that's because they're broken. The wall has been breached.
As we saw from the news.
Whoops, and like, listen,
and these
they're trying
fuckers
their
are
best,
so useful.
okay? They're doing their best. What does this say?
No idea. Teeth?
Teeth. Okay. Maybe more show your teeth. Maybe that's what the girl is. Maybe she's a faunus, like Robin Hall is a faunus, right? And that's her relation to Tyrion.
Imagine if Willow had a
faunus half-sibling, like
yes.
that's what we were thinking from before. You guys should really watch our intro analysis if it's up and you haven't already, because like we talked about a lot of ideas, but we'll go over them again. This is just so clean. Like this entire fight scene is just fucking great. Like look at how Crow slashes that Grim, and how like Crow has such cool moves this time.
We also see Oscar
decides to fuck some stuff up, like good job, and then RWBY saves him, which is gonna make all of the Rose Garden shippers very happy. I like how she digs it into the pavement, like her scythe right there. But yeah, I think this was a really good fight scene, and we saw it at RTX, so I wasn't like surprised because it was really hype at RTX, but now to see it all finished, because we basically saw like these Grims were like barely done, and they had these dots on their back, like to control like for the rigging, and the entire city was just green, and like there was just nothing except for the character models.
Unlike now that it's green and
What is
orange.
that? Crater Cafe.
Yeah.
And then what's that? We can't read that. That's okay. I like how...
Oh, it's tech, not teeth.
Tech? Okay, that's good. Yeah, so maybe that's like the pharmacy is in the yellow, and then it says tech in the... Because it's pharmacy-tech. Unless... Yeah, because that's a pharmacy building, right? So it's like health-tech or something like that. But I can't read that. So...
Oh, yeah, I don't
so
know.
we don't know. Anyway, I like that Blake helps
they
to
have
save
a moment
Yang.
there.
They have a moment.
And
but
then you get green lasers.
Then the fight
Second
scene
I
is
thought
like,
that, I was like, oh, so that's
yeah,
Penny.
so that's why they don't need the robots, because Penny is fine defending the city.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, she's lasering.
I guess she doesn't need the sleep,
She doesn't really need... Yeah, I mean, she
I
doesn't
love
really
how
need
they
the help
silhouette her
with
by the moon.
Yeah, I think that this is great. If I can remember to do it, if you guys don't know, Dishwasher works like for like RWBY and stuff sometimes, or does commissions. I think they definitely took like the dress, I think is Dishwasher inspired, and the hair. I don't know
I was never crazy about Penny's original design, and I really love her new design.
I really like this, and I really like her hair. Again, we do have some curls here, so I'll forgive the fact that the black dude that we thought had curly hair does not have curly hair, which we also talked about in the intro analysis, if you guys saw. But yeah, I really think that Penny looks a little more robotic here. I don't know. It's just kind of weird, like in this specific scene, and that sort of like makes me think that something is up. But I guess we'll get to that. Why don't you say hello to your friends? And like, look at his face. He's just so happy.
Oh,
he's just such a nice
boy.
Old man. And look at Ruby's face, and she puts her where.
I don't know. How do you feel about this moment? Because like she saw her friend be like, she was crying and torn up when, well,
yeah, but she looks like she's gonna cry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's too like simple and happy. Maybe it's for a later scene we get the like, oh my god,
this was supposed to be sort of a final situation, and so we don't like. We talked about that earlier, like, this was supposed to be the final for Volume 6, so after all that dread, and, like, Adam dying, and, like, all the pain, so this may have been, like, the pick-me-up before going down again.
I think the fact that it's, like, only happy and not complex maybe adds to the idea that, yeah, that's the real Penny, but
and she has an off button on the top of her bow.
That
so
also reminds me of,
me
of, oh god, I forgot her name, the girl with the robot bunny ears from Genlock, Cammy's robot thing. And she got a little swirl. Oh my god, she's wonderful. I love her new design so much.
Thought you died in a matter of speaking. So they got her core, which makes sense, okay? And so I don't think that that's like a plot hole or anything. Like her data chip would have been either in her head or in her chest, like very, again, Baymax, Big Hero 6 situation. They just needed to take that chip and put it in her body. Is the soul in that chip, though? Like, that's sort of the question.
Did they need to use the Relic of Creation? Is there...
Again, for the second time, which means it only has one more time left in 100 years, if it works like Jin.
Rules.
Right. She's good as new, and she's the official protector of the city. They must love her. Like, she's just great, you know? we're not gonna let a little ripping to shreds stop us, right? And I feel like the reason why some people are disappointed is because they sort of built up the idea in their head like, oh, Penny 2.0, she won't remember and it'll be so tragic, right? But maybe that's not what the story needs for it yet.
I'm worried
and I still
about
think that there is something going on, but I feel like oh, like Penny, like, you know, you see Penny in the streets of Atlas, RWBY runs up to her and she goes, Penny, and Penny says, salutations, do I know you? Like, so many people thought of something like that I feel like it's sort of, they got their hopes up with it. And so I feel like that, not to say that it's, I don't know how to explain this. I'm not like, guys, the writing is good. If you're disappointed, it's your own fault. But at the same time, like, regardless of the writing, I think people getting their hopes up too much with AUs is, like, problematic to people sometimes. It hurt, like, because then you have an expectation of how things are going to go and it doesn't go necessarily your way, or the way that you imagined for the past couple of years, right? Like, this may have always been the plan and there's something, like, going on here. Does that make sense? And I feel like it makes sense to me because, again, for someone who's watched, like, stuff like Big Hero 6, it's a very similar situation where the real Baymax was sort of lost, but the chip is in his hand. I guess spoilers for Big Hero 6, and you put the old chip in a new Baymax type situation. Just saying.
I feel like people aren't losing their shit realistically.
What do you mean? Like them?
About Penny being alive.
I mean, she's a robot though, Hunter. They all knew that.
Yeah.
So if it was Pyrrha, I'm sure they'd be like, what? But it's Penny. And so for me, like, obviously we're excited because we wanted her to come back and I enjoy being right.
I don't, it's not that I dislike it. I don't dislike it.
It's in terms of them, like, it kind of, like, I get why they're not like, Summer Rose? Pyrrha? Like, no, those were real people. Okay, yeah. She was a robot. There was always the possibility of her coming back. You know what I mean?
I think it's the type of thing where I just want to see where it goes. And I'm not going to make any judgments right now. Because obviously the story isn't done yet.
And then it goes. And it goes. And Maria's just like, what the fuck is happening? So they start walking away.
I don't watch television.
And then they all get kidnapped. And
this is weird that everything went like that.
It's very animated because it's slow motion. I think it's implied that, like, Ren can sense something is going, and then they get caught. And I like how Crow's the only one not caught, and so he tries to fight, and he's like, nah, sis. And so you see all of the ops in here, and so this guy fucking backflips, like, extra. And so we see that this is the Special Ace team, and you can see the rest of them in the intro. So Hunter did a little bit of research.
Yeah, I think I know who this guy is.
Because he has a rabbit foot now, so who is he?
But he also has a horseshoe, so he might be the donkey in the lions that he
what was that about?
It was ostensibly, the moral of it was a donkey wore a lion skin because he wanted to impress people by showing him that he was strong, but in reality he was a fumbling dumbass.
But what does that have to do with the horse?
Maybe he wants to seem in charge and cool and a badass, but actuality he has no idea what's going on.
What does that have to do with the horseshoe?
Well, because donkey maybe also wears horseshoes.
I think it just looks like a horseshoe.
I mean, obviously it's his thing. It's his weapon, but also looks like a horseshoe.
I think that we should focus more on the rabbit foot.
Well, there's also the hare and the tortoise.
Yeah,
that's another
there's a lot of these fables, okay? So, like, we tried. I'm sure by the time that this video comes out, somebody will have figured all them out already, okay? But, like, we're not, you know what I mean? There's a lot of fables, guys. I'm pretty sure that the scorpion and the frog is one of his fables. It's a fable that's what Tyrion's based off of. I don't know if it's his. I'm, like, definitely sure that it is. But it's basically, like, they have to get across the lake together, so the scorpion goes on the frog's back, but then he stings the frog, and he's just like, that's just in my nature. And, like, all these fables are supposed to have, like, lessons. So what if it's, like, if Tyrion has a fable and he's based off that, what if he's connected to these guys somehow?
So like, he's the frog?
No, it would be, no, I don't mean that. I mean, like, that Tyrion could have been involved with them in a sense, and that's why he's also fighting
I had some ideas for the other guys, like that girl with the white thing. Like, this
guy's definitely, like, Boy Who Cried Wolf related, but he's the wolf situation, just how people, like, when they were making RWBY, they wanted RWBY to be Little Red and the wolf, but this guy's probably just, like, the boy who cried wolf and the wolf, to some extent. But I don't think it's going to be that literal, like this guy always lies or anything.
These guys won't be. It won't be literal. That's just, you know, brief.
What they're based off of, right? I think, so here's my beef with this guy, okay? Yeah. When we saw him
oh my God, you're talking about this again?
Yes, I am talking about this again. I swear to God, this man looked like he had curly hair. Okay, this guy is, like, black, I think. right? And
Racist. He also has blue eyes and a dog tail.
I know what I'm saying. It's so annoying. Like, can y'all not make a character that has curly hair? Are you incapable? Like, people are like, oh, it's hard to animate. Like, it's easier to animate these stiff pieces of hair that just go on you. And maybe that's true, but I'm just like, would it kill y'all to give a black character a black hairstyle?
Well, they did it with Flint Cole.
He had no hair.
Didn't he?
No!
Did you see a little bit of it?
No, he basically had no hair. I mean, he
Okay.
had hair, like he wasn't like bald or anything, but it's not like he had dreads or like his hair was curly or anything like that. Like Rooster Teeth, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, okay? Because obviously for me, and I explained this in the analysis, right? I have curly hair. So it's like, I'm basically rooting for this. It's a little self-serving, right? Because I want a curly-haired character, like, for myself. But also it's like, I don't know. It's just a weird representation thing. And so many people were excited about this guy because they were like, finally! Because a lot of, like, you know, black cosplayers in the RWBY community, like, want more characters they can cosplay as, but also use, like, their natural hair. Like, somebody in like my Discord server and Arnold's Discord server, like he did Flint Cold, but he like wore his, I think they were like dreads or whatever. And like that was really cool, like as a cosplay. But like y'all just, I don't know, y'all like missed the boat on this one. I don't know why.
Unless that isn't the same character.
They have to be. They're in the same outfit. Unless there's just another black guy that's with this girl, because that girl's definitely the one from the screenshot. So he has to be the one from the screenshot.
Then again, I don't remember the. I don't.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just like.
Or maybe we just
so
had blurry
weird.
screenshots.
Maybe, but I was so hopeful. I was so hopeful that his hair would be curly. Anyway, this guy's just like, what are the Aesops even doing down here? And so, like, they know each other clearly. Like, hey, doctor, good to see ya. And so, this guy's, like, reminds me, in a weird way, of Togata from My Hero Academia. In a strange way. Like, not to the same, like, happy extent, but, like, hey, doctor, here to see ya. We heard about a ship, and we'll be on our way. Like, don't worry. They can talk to Ironwood when they get upstairs. Like, because that's basically what's probably gonna happen. But yeah, his personality. I like how Maria's just like,
oh, fuck these kids.
she goes away. I love that so much. Anyway, I like all these people's designs. You can see it better in the OP situation.
Similar but different.
But yeah, they all just sort of fuck off, I guess.
I had a theory that the guy with the very pale skin could have been the North Wind and the girl with the flare could have been the sun. Yeah,
maybe. It's just like, I feel like it's gonna be difficult to figure out because it's like, oh, Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks, like, Aesop's like, who the fuck is this guy from, like, 4,000 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're not as common and we know them, like the tortoise and the hare, like, we know it. But does that mean we know it's sis? And that's what he could be too, because he has the rabbit's foot. He could be the hare.
Well, it looks like a grim rabbit.
Yeah, I know, but you can't actually do that.
But he also has those horseshoe things. So.
You know what I mean? Like
it remains to be seen.
Grim disappears, so it's a fake rabbit's foot.
I guess that's true. A fake grim-looking rabbit's foot.
Look at this. There's a little like oopsies. There's a little power thing on his chair. I just think that that's a nice little detail, that there's a little safety sign. Yeah. But yeah, they get put in the back of a cop car basically, and that's it.
And that's and
Adrian. Sorry, I don't know why that screenshot always like happens after, even though it was made a long time ago. But yeah, so you guys should watch our intro analysis because we're not going to go through it again. But someone pointed out that Whitley and Weiss both have white eyebrows, but Winter has black eyebrows, and obviously Jacques has black hair, and a lot of people are like, what if this means that Winter was with Jacques all along? But it's like, they set up Whitley to be so bad.
You don't want it to be subverted like that?
No.
I don't know, because I'm a little, rewatching Volume 3, I'm a little lukewarm on Winter.
RWBY has a lot of... Not a lot, actually. RWBY has one nice sister relationship, and that's Yang and RWBY. And I guess we can talk about this in a separate video where we talk about Ironwood and Jacques, but, you know, seldom is there, I guess, especially, like, in RWBY, like, people with good families, okay? Like, even though, like, Yang and RWBY are okay and they have each other, like, Yang's mom left her, RWBY's mom died, okay? Like, there's all of that sort of stuff. Weiss's family has been historically shitty. Like, the only person that really has a good, like, family, it's, like, Ren and Nora's parents are both dead, right? As far as we know. Like, all their parents are dead. Like, the only one who seems to have a nice...
a lovely family.
Well, he, like, left them, and they didn't let him, like, you know, they didn't believe in him to fight and all that stuff.
But,
it didn't
you know, they had pretty good reason.
I mean, they had a good point. I'm just saying that they didn't. Okay, so let's just not, you know what I mean? Let's just not blame Sean. Like, Blake's parents are great, but why? I don't know. I feel like so many people, like, love the relationship between Winter and Weiss, and that, like, in all the badness, like, Winter protected Weiss and has always been there for Weiss and made sure Weiss was set up to the point where she could escape if she wanted to, and you're gonna ruin that by, like, I was with Jacques the whole time. Like, I feel like that's terrible. Like, that's straight up heresy.
I don't feel that way.
I think that would be really, really bad, and I would not accept that.
Because, like, think about it. When Weiss was stuck in her, like, Schnee manor getting, like, slapped by Jacques, where was Winter?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Like, in Volume 3, all, like, Winter did was, like, fuck you, be better at, summoning glyphs and smack her around.
But why would Winter go back home? Winter can't...
To see her sister?
But she also was in Mistral. Right? So, like, they have no contact between each other. Like, remember, all the kingdoms are down. And so it's like, Winter, it wasn't like, oh, Ironwood, like, we're hanging around in Alice. I wonder what my sister's up to. She's okay.
I don't know.
Like, no,
I'm just
she was
not
deployed in Mistral. She was in Mistral and had no contact. And by the time she got back home to hear that her sister was back, Weiss was already gone and left. Because Raven was like, oh yeah, your sister? She left weeks ago. You know what I mean? That's valid. And so, like, she would have helped her if she could. But you know who didn't do anything? Whitley.
Whitley didn't help.
We had a theory that, like, Whitley, like, when he was like, hey, we're going into town, Weiss. Like, you wanna, you know, do you want anything? We'll be out for hours. Like, that he was trying to help her, but Weiss didn't take that opportunity to escape, and so I feel like narratively, it would have been better if she did, and that would have sort of supported Whitley being good. But it's like he almost just made fun of her that she's like stuck in the house and like watched her training and just scoffed at her and all this stuff. And in the OP, Watts and Whitley are together, and historically, like, you have
but like,
sorry, did I say Watts? Watts, like, Emerald and Mercury are all on the same side in the OPs. You know what I mean? Like, the sides in the OP tend to mean something. Like, you have Vernal and you have Raven on the same side.
But also,
like,
like, Whitley looks like not happy.
I don't think Whitley looks
like
happy.
snarling.
Like, I think that Whitley
like Winter looks really like smug and sure of herself, and Weiss looks really concerned and afraid. So I don't know.
I think that Winter.
I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying there's something there.
Maximum allegiance to Ironwood. If Jacques is manipulating Ironwood from behind the scenes, like
I
we
agree
think
with
because
that.
of the OP,
I agree with that.
I think that that's fine. But I feel like Winter is. I feel like her succumbing to her father does not send a very good message.
And what message would that be?
Because it's like Winter escaped. Like, she was able to sort of make a life for herself independently. Like, she joined the military, she raised the ranks, really and then she's back. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like our Winter Schnee moderator in the server is gonna have a better argument against it than I do. But I definitely feel like Jacques is pulling some stuff behind the scenes because of that image in the OP where it's Ironwood, but then it flickers and it's actually Jacques.
But I also like the idea of Winter being bad, but not like Jacques bad, like maybe a different kind of bad.
I want her to side with Jacques, okay? If Ironwood is doing bad things and she sides with Ironwood, that's different. But again, this is for a separate video.
I'm thinking Ironwood will happen. That'll be more likely.
I don't know. I just want, like,
I want my characters to have one dimensions.
It's not about them having one dimension, so Ironwood can still be paranoid, but still not be a direct copy of Lionheart. I just don't want them to go down paths that they've already gone down, right? Like, we've been there, we've done that with Ironwood, right? Like, if we have another bad headmaster that we have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not. And,
but
like,
I feel like the
Lionheart
difference is that
died.
Lionheart wasn't redeemable, but Ironwood is redeemable. Would you agree with that?
Well, if you're saying that he's a dictator and, like, killing journalists and stuff, like, that's not, you know what I mean? Is that redeemable?
But like, I'm also
Lionheart
like, is that him? Is that him? Is that Jacques?
It doesn't sound like it. I think that Hunter is very quick to just condemn Ironwood, and I don't want to just condemn Ironwood.
I'm just saying, potentially he could be bad.
Like,
we
I
don't
want
know.
Ironwood to be Putin and, like, Donald Trump, like, all the comparisons that Hunter's making.
I'm just saying.
That's all I'm saying. So I think that for extra videos this week, we will probably do, and I guess we'll try to upload the analysis and get feedback from people, because Hunter and I can also record tomorrow, maybe a little bit, because we have no My Hero Academia this week, so we could see what people want us to talk about. But as for right now, I'm thinking, like, Penny video, Ironwood video, that's kind of it. Like, I feel like we could talk about the Aesops if we are able to sort of better pinpoint what they're actually based off of, but we only got, like, 2 out of 5, or maybe just 1 out of 5. Like, the wolf one is obvious. Is the other stuff obvious? No. Like, I feel like the OP gives us more to sort of do videos about compared to the actual episode. But
just
yeah.
because it's a glimpse into the future.
So Hunter and I will talk about that, but we may just pick back up tomorrow after you guys have watched the analysis and tell us what videos you guys actually want from us, and I feel like that may be better. But anyway, we will see you later. It's been real. It's been fun. Bye, guys. Thank you to all the patrons over on Patreon who support our channel. Their names will be showcased now.